Hello again, everyone, and welcome today to another special edition of Interview with a World Champion. So, not exactly an actual champion in the sense of number one, but to me, they're all champions if you get this high in a World's tournament. So, this is the number two winner, Jimmy Ballard, in 2006, who won the number two in the Masters division. So, I'm going to show you, before I go ahead and roll the interview, I'm going to show you the cards. First of all, this is the deck that was made commemoratively for his place, and we'll talk about that on the video as well. And then let me run you through the cards. So the World's 2006 cards, the two cards, these are the two cards that come inside of the 9-card player set, talking about this year's location and next year's planned location. Here's the regular participant card. The staff stamped card, top 32, top 16. Maybe I'll move my hand to the side, make this a little bit so I don't, well, of course I can't see. Let me do it on this side. Quarterfinalist, semi-finalist, finalist. Again, this was the top back then. Champion cards had not come out yet. So, like I said, champion and second place both got the finalist cards back then because they were finalists. And then the number 3 trainer or trophy. The number 1 trainer or trophy. And Jimmy Ballard's number 2. So with that, I'll go ahead and get us right into the interview. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks again for taking the time to watch. And I hope if you like these things, you'll continue to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day. So today I have the pleasure of speaking with Jimmy Ballard, who is, as he's just told me, hiding up in his room because the jackhammers outside are making lots of noise that we'd like to avoid at this point in time, correct?
Yes, sir. They're tearing out a patio for us.
Okay, well, good. That's one of the things you can still do with the pandemic is get a lot of stuff done around the house. So
exactly.
I will just talk about you first. I had the great pleasure and privilege of purchasing your 2006 number 2 championship trophy card way back. It's amazing to think that was 14 years ago.
Yeah, no
We're
kidding.
both looking a bit older. So you're looking much better than I am. So that's the good news. So congratulations on an amazing accomplishment, and I want you to talk about it. I'll just highlight one thing that I'm sure you would speak on, but just because I think it's so impressive is in your run to the second place finish, you actually, I guess in the semifinals, beat the world champion, the previous year's world champion, Jeremy Marin, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit. Tell us about, I want to hear it starting out 2006. How old were you? Where was the tournament held and how it all went down?
Well, 14 years ago, that would put me at 33 years old. I can tell you leading up to 2006, my son, James, and my daughter, Chelsea, we had thousands and thousands of games in leading up to that championship. I always play rogue decks ever since I started playing the game. I'd always build the meta decks for my kids and let them kind of play in juniors, with the meta stuff. And then that would give me great testing at home to see what worked and what didn't. So leading up to 2006, I had played this Eevee deck pretty much the entire year. And for some reason, I bagged it for nationals and got my butt just handed to me at Nats. So, but I pulled it back out at Worlds, and, all the games that I had with all the friends that used to come to our house and stuff was great practice for that type of event. And, every single deck that I seen, I was prepared for, and I'm not certain that the deck that I was playing, people were necessarily prepared for. You know, it's there's one real significant point at the World Championship, especially day 2, where there used to be a gentleman named Jimmer working for TPCI, and I had made it into top 8, hadn't played top 8 yet, and I had to use the restroom during the match. And when I went out in the hallway, he was literally the only gentleman out in the hallway at that time. So I'm running to go to the restroom, and I go to the restroom and I come back out and I says, you know, Jimmer, I'm playing this rogue deck. What does it take for me to get this deck printed? Because the trophies are nice and the money's okay, and you know, it is what it is, but being a rogue player, having that deck printed was truly my goal. And he just looked at me and just said, just keep winning. You know, and he didn't give me you got to make top 4, or, you know, we can do it in top 8 or top 2, whatever. He just simply said to me, just keep winning.
Wow.
And that, like, I'm just in that moment, it was just like awe-inspiring. And it was like, all right, I'm going to do everything I can to just keep winning. And, you know, and top 8 came along. I ended up playing Big Chuck against Dragtrode. And that match literally came down to time, and one prize in game 3 determined the outcome of that matchup. And then I get into top 4 against Jeremy, and you know, the deck I had built didn't beat anything overwhelmingly, but it was designed to try and 50-50 or 60-40 pretty much every matchup that was out there. The cards I had in and the games that I had played with it, I was completely prepared to play in every single match. I was just up to the deck to perform. And you know, game 1 against Jeremy, it was 2, maybe 3 turns, very quick. He scooped, and we got into a really long, you know, 50-minute match for game 2. And, you know, I was down, he had 2 prizes left and I had all 6 of mine. And somehow I managed to rattle off all 6 prizes to his 1 more and took the match 2-0. So, and then I get into the finals against Jason, and, you know, Jason is local to me here in Chicago. And, you know, that year we had met up quite a few times at the mall and played a lot of games, you know, and he had an idea what my deck would do. And we just knew there were certain parts in the game where if he locked me, there's no coming back from it. And if I locked him, there's pretty much no coming back from it. So our games were, you know, he hit the switch and I was done. And game 2, you shuffle up, and I had the lock on and he hit the switch and now it's done. It's just the way it works, you know? So, but I was free rolling once I made it into top 4. You know, I just felt like this crazy concoction that I put together somehow managed to get me here. I was just free rolling and just happy I made it further than my son at the point at that time, because he was the one crushing the competition, not necessarily me. But he got turn 1 Blastoise in game 3 in a mirror match in top 8. So. But he got his little Pikachu DS, and he was running around like a little crazy nut saying, look what I got, you know, so he was super happy.
Well, I want to talk to you about that too, but let's just show this real quick since I've got it. You know, so this is, you accomplished your goal, and there it is for all time and eternity, the deck that you wanted to get printed. So
right. Yep.
Pretty
it for
impressive.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And so tell me, you said 33 years old. Yeah. I mean, I would imagine, just from my experience in being at Worlds, is that one of the oldest, if not the oldest?
It's probably the oldest still. I mean, they called me an old poke even then, and mostly because I was, you know, a father of 2 kids who were playing. I was a young dad. So, but yeah, I mean, at the time I was part of a group called Old Pokes, and, you know, I didn't really fit into the younger crowd, while we had a lot of kids that would come over and play test that year. The young, you know, I also had older people, you know, Eric Richards, Richard Lucas, you know, and countless others, Rich Lindsay, that were kind of helping us test throughout, and Dave Coleman. We had lots of different, Rob Downs. I mean, he took top 4 at Nats in 2008, I believe, or 2007. So, I mean, we had a group of older dads that would, you know, all get together, and I think we were more competitive than the kids were at that time. They just wanted to get together and throw stuffed animals at each other.
Yeah. And when do you get to a point, you know, like you're thinking, so you have the success there, and how much longer did you play? How much, you know, where did you get to a point that maybe you said, maybe this is a young man's game, or maybe you never did, you know, because of just the sophistication and the speed that they play, whatever? Where did that kind of
You know, the
transition?
love of the competition. Well, the competition part for me ended when SPs came out. That was 2010. I just thought the game took a hard left turn into speed, and you know, it took the chess and, you know, that sort of thinking ahead 2, 3, 4, 5 turns. You know, when I play a deck in the manner of I'm telling my opponent a story, and the story I'm telling them, I need them to take this path in order for me to meet them at the end and win the game. But when SPs came out, it was just a speed, whoever got there first, you know, it became a sprint instead of a light jog, you know, and no, I don't want to say there was no strategies, because SP mirrors are very, very difficult, but if you didn't play SPs, there was no use playing the game, and I didn't really care.
What does SP mean in this? What does that mean?
It's like SP Pokemon. It's the trainer like Luxray, Level X, and Garchomp.
It's a specific type of trainer or something.
It's a specific type of Pokemon genre, basically.
Okay.
So this subset of Pokemon, these cards all work together to go really fast, kind of like Holland's Pokemon, yeah, and Delta species and those sorts of things. So, but when that came out, the game just got too fast for me, and I picked it back up again in 2012, and I managed to top 32 nationals that year with some just god awful. I play the deck now, and it's like, how did I manage to win a game with it? And you know, it's the game for me has always been about the forethought and the challenge of, you know, strategy and, you know, anything you can do, I can do better sort of stuff. And, you know, 2013, I missed making top cut at Nats by 1 game, and I was totally distraught. And, you know, I bought the store in 2007, and, you know, I started working on building the empire instead of focusing on playing. So it's like anything else. If you play baseball every single day, 10 hours a day, you're going to get good at it, you know, and that's what we did for Pokemon. We played every minute we were at a table. Like every day I was off, we played 12 hours. Every weekend, me and my kids after dinner, we'd play 2 or 3 games before we go to bed. You know, I'm sitting in my bed and I'm just dealing out hands, just dealing. And that's what it took. And once that practice level started to deteriorate, so did my deck building and, you know, playing skills and that sort of stuff.
So tell me about the kids. You know, they were playing obviously all the way back then, and now they're 14 years older. How long did they play? Any more success? Do they still play?
They stopped playing pretty much when they went to high school, like 8th grade, high school. You know, they start getting their own friends, and then it's just like any other family thing. It's, you know, mom and dad are secondary, and, you know, but I couldn't set it down. And once I started the store, we had a new group of friends who would play, and we just started playing at the store more, and the kids just kind of started doing their own thing. And now my daughter's 27, and she has, you know, a 10-year-old and wow, and 1 on the way. And my son's in the Air Force now up in Dover, Delaware. And, you know, I look back and I just truly wish someone would have tapped me on the shoulder and said, these are the memories you're creating for the rest of your life, because I would have appreciated those minutes a lot more than I had in the moment.
Yeah. And do you guys, just a curiosity to finish this little segment, but when they come home for holidays or for whatever, do you guys ever still play?
No, I mean, I have the trophy wall downstairs, so we'll go down there and reminisce. And, you know, my daughter is kind of competitive, so she will still say, you know, I'll kick your butt, I don't care, that sort of stuff. But no, they never settle it at the table anymore. I think, you know, I have this retro deck collection that basically encompasses all the years that we truly enjoyed playing Pokemon, and I can't even get them to pick those decks up anymore. So I'm done with the kids now. I moved on to the grandkids. So now I have 3 grandkids that have starter decks, and we're trying to get them rolling. So
that's great. Congratulations. I know,
yeah,
I've been done with my kids for several years in a lot more ways than you're referring to. So
yeah,
and I've got a couple of grandkids, so I'm looking forward to that. They're still a little bit young, but
yeah, getting them to shuffle is the hardest part. So once you figure that out, they got the game. The game is easy for them once they learn to shuffle.
Got it. Now you talked about, so I want to talk about 2 things. I want to talk about your trophy wall, or that you talked about, and then you talked about collections, the decks that are still kind of in your collection.
Right.
So, because you know, part of my channel, really the bulk of my channel is appealing to folks that are collecting the cards. So let's start with the trophy wall. What's on it? Do you still have the number 2 trophy for 2006?
Well, if you don't mind the background moving here, I could actually take you down in the basement.
Yeah, so I'd love to see that.
Show you,
I'd love to see it. So
show you where we're at here.
Okay.
Sorry, I'd be putzing through my house. It's 2 floors below me.
No problem. So
there's my little kitty cat here.
Oh.
Yeah, I get to go down 2 whole floors. We don't go down here much. I'm sorry if you could hear that jackhammer.
We can't hear anything. We just hear the wonderful sound of your voice, so you're good.
That's awesome. All right, turn this on. So here is my trophy wall.
Oh, wow.
Got all my kids and my trophies, all our medals. This one I actually purchased, and I purchased it from someone in Europe who, when they shipped it to them, it had broken.
Yeah.
And I only did that because I wanted the Pikachu, you know, as a symbol of what we're doing. But yeah, we got trophies from Texas, from all 04, 05, 06.
But is the number 6, 02, your second place 2006 on there somewhere?
Here's the big one here.
Yes. Wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it lights up, and then my son has the national championship trophy, the Charizard. So when that thing lights up, it lights up the Charizard color and stuff. So
that's
fantastic.
Congratulations, man. That's really beautiful.
Yeah, thanks.
And I like the deck. I like the deck right in the middle of the whole thing behind that Pikachu at the top. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's, like I said, notice it's front and center. That's truly the accomplishment that I'm most proud of. Like, the trophy's cool and all, and the card was cool and all, but man, when I seen that at Walmart, holy moly, it was fantastic.
That's really cool. So tell me, as we're finishing here and you're walking, tell me about the collection piece. So you do still collect or hold some cards?
Yeah, if you ever have an opportunity, just visit www.topcutevents.com. I've had this retro deck collection for roughly 6 years.
Wow.
And here's 5 of the 6 boxes right here. I have more pictures on the website, but just so happens I had them out here. So what I have here is I have pretty much every deck, I have every single deck from 2003 through 2012, but all the top meta decks. I have them all categorized. And
the ones that you actually played with?
Actually, the actual one that I played with was, it was in my bag that we left at Nationals one time, and it was never turned in. So
okay,
I lost a lot of sentimental stuff in that bag. Had cards that my kids made me over the years and stuff, but I do have 2 copies of the deck, but just not my original one.
Yeah, so leave it to me to bring up something to make us sad and depressed on the video. So
no, it's quite all right.
No intention to. I did not know that story. I apologize.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, so fantastic. So, and then today, so let's transition into today a little bit. So I think you're one of these folks that's had an incredible ability to stay with the hobby kind of your whole life.
Yeah, and I'm one of the few guys in the game who started out, as just the parent bringing the kids to play and collect. I collected the game for a whole year before I even knew it was a game. I had no idea. Because I used to collect basketball cards, when Shaq came out as a rookie, and I used to collect all the Beam Team stuff. And, I was just collecting. I went into a circus world here in Chicago, and, the kids are like, Pokemon. So I'm like, oh, okay, Pokemon. And, bought 3 packs for $10 or whatever. And, I opened one up, and it was a base set Alakazam. And I looked it up in the old Beckett magazines back in the day, and, that thing was like $12. I was like, all right, I'm hooked forever, right? So I seen the numbers and stuff. I started collecting, and, I was that guy, like, holding it in the light and making sure that the sides weren't bent or nothing. And, we collected all the way through Team Rocket. I think we started like in Fossil Jungle, and then we collected through Team Rocket and Base Set 2. And then finally I started playing. I think my first deck was like Dark Blastoise, Sand Slash or something. I just kept getting my butt kicked by Rocket Zapdos. So I wanted to build something that could compete with Rocket Zapdos, you know? So, and it just kind of went from there. So I went from a parent who was, you know, taking the kids out on Saturday at 8 in the morning and getting home at 9 at night, just collecting and, you know, playing and just enjoying time with the kids, to then I started playing, and then the kids started getting good, and my daughter won us a trip to New York for the East Coast STS.
Wow.
And, you know, I did that for a while. And once I realized there was travel, because, I mean, we weren't rich, right? I had 2 kids at 20, 22, 23, you know, 24 years old, just had a new baby. Mikey just came. And, you know, we just turned it into a game. And then we got good at the game. So 04, 5, 6, 7. Basically were the 4 years where we were pretty dominant in the game, I'd like to think. And then I bought the store in 07 and started with one little 1,600 square foot store. And I've been through 6 stores since. And, you know, now we have 2 separate online sites, and we employ 24 people. And I got a store in Nashville, I got one here in Loves Park. And it's just amazing. Like, I went from, you know, parent to collector, to watching my kids play, to a, you know, a parent player, which is its own category all itself. You know, sometimes you just get comfortable playing at the back tables there, but then I started getting competitive due to the nature of our area. And, you know, 06, 07, I bought the store, and 08, I started hosting tournaments, and, you know, 09, I got a state championship, and then 10, I got a regional, and it just kind of, here's a little more, here's a little more, and here's a little more. And, you know, I love it. I truly do love it. You know, my background is retail. I got 3 years at Osco, 3 years at Walgreens, and 13 years at Sam's Club. So it prepared me well to run brick and mortar stores. And, you know, I've surrounded myself by good people over the years, and, you know, they've kind of continued to grow our business.
And
So
I want
crazy.
I want to hear more about that, because I think that a lot of people be wondering, you know, you've had tremendous success with the stores, and I know you're transitioning now. I've read some of your new Facebook stuff that says that you're starting to really focus on a lot more of the online selling too, I think, so that you can try to allow collectors and folks that maybe want to pick up stuff from the events over the years, and you know that. So we'll talk about that. But tell me about the stores from the standpoint these days. A lot of people think, you know, I'm on the forums, and we're talking about the fact that you can't find a retail collectible store anymore. How are you surviving in an environment when brick and mortar is just so much not there? You know, it's much less the norm than used to be.
I'll give you one word: diversification.
Yeah.
You have to be diverse. You know, we're not just a game store. I'll strictly speak of, because we have a 6,000 square foot store in Loves Park, Illinois, but we're very diverse. We have, you know, comic books, we have back issue books, collectible books, board games, pop heads, toys, artwork, D&D books, role-playing games, you know, sleeves, this trading card games. So the trading card game industry is just a very small portion of what our store does as a whole.
Yeah.
You know, so when we had to stop doing tournaments, surprisingly, it didn't hurt our business. Now in our Tennessee location, they were 90% tournament based. So it's hurting that location because they're not as diverse. They're just a gaming store. But our Loves Park location is shining strong even without in-person events. The 6,000 square feet allows us to ensure that we have enough space for everyone to come in and shop freely. Our aisles are set, you know, all the merchandising I've learned over the years. We've got our store set up well to be successful even in times where we have to close. Where we were missing it was online, collectibles, that sort of stuff. So over the last 4 months, we had a 2-month renovation, and then we spent the last 2 months getting our brick and mortar online. Because, you know, it's unfortunate, but I believe there'll be another shutdown here in October, November, and we want to make sure we're on the forefront of that so we can continue to keep our people employed.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It sounds like I'm really excited to see you guys develop that piece of it as well. I think that if anyone's deserving, just because of all the contributions you've made to the hobby over all of the time, and I know it's many other, from a diversification standpoint, many other hobbies as well. But it's
Right.
nice to see you be able to reap some rewards and really the whole world reap your rewards of being able to find that stuff more in an online environment too.
Right.
Yeah. So how do you transition? How do you guys, I mean, you talked about, I think you have 1,000 listings out there now and you're moving towards 5,000,
Yep.
so who's doing all that work? Is it you and the wife just 24 hours a day? Nobody sleeps? What?
So when you called, that's actually what I could bring you downstairs and show you, but that's actually what I was doing. Shopify is new to our business. We have a Crystal Commerce account that we run through the stores where they could sell all their stuff on TCG Player, Amazon, eBay, so on and so on. But I felt like the collecting business needed to be tied more to social media. So I decided to go with Shopify. And if you know anything about me, you know that I'm not exactly the most computer literate person out there. But this was something that I felt like I couldn't burden my staff with since they're growing, the brick and mortar and trying to get that transitioned online. I wanted to take something and make it my own. So when I tell you, me, my wife and my daughter scanned every image. I got all the cards graded, sent out to Charlie. I met Charlie Herlocker of Ludkin's Collectibles. I've been out to his house twice now, dropping off massive collections just because I don't want to ship that much money. And we're getting into the graded card industry because that's where we're headed, the collectible side of it. And, I'm nowhere near as familiar with that as Charlie would be or Dan Norton would be. I'm a player. I'm a dad. I'm a parent. I'm a store owner. I'm a TO. I'm a PTO. I'm not the collectible guy. So there's been some learning curves, something that could have taken me a minute to do has taken me 18 minutes to do, and until you find those mistakes and try and become more efficient, it becomes difficult. So my wife and I, we just taken it upon ourselves to just make this Top Cut events our thing. There's no in-person events. I could push online events, but I'm not a computer guy. So simple things like Discord are extremely challenging to me. Whereas my 7-year-old granddaughter can figure it out, like that. And it's just like, it's not a business that I wanted to get into as much as I wanted to get into the collectible aspects. Yeah. Plus I have a lot of connections from over the years where a lot of TOs, PTOs, gentlemen that we used to play with over the years, they have massive collections that have been kind of feeding that need as well. So.
Congratulations. I mean, I think just the fact you can talk about employing 24 people, and keeping them still working in this environment and all the rest of it, it says a lot for your longevity and probably the fact that you're probably a pretty decent boss to have as well. So.
Yeah, they just like it when I'm not working.
You're out of the way?
Yeah, that I'm out of their way.
I know. I remember from my days. I used to have the same kind of business and they were really happy when I never came in. So.
Yeah, so a lot of this grading industry we're actually doing from home. And my store is 2 hours from me, and then Nashville's 8 hours from me. So I'm able to, I can't even say I manage them remotely because I really have some great people working with us. They kind of do their own thing, and if they need me, they call me. It's that sort of relationship. So I give them the freedom to make the mistakes they need to make the business successful.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great attitude. I think that a lot of folks could learn from leadership from that. So fantastic. So just to make sure I restate for everybody. So the name of your website is topcutevents.com.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Great. So I just want to thank you. I don't know if you've had anything else that you maybe wanted to say or anything, but I'm going to just, wrap up myself by saying, and I guess I should hold this card up. I don't even know if I did this. So there is the wonderful card that I'm privileged to own from you and your wonderful second place finish. And I will say that it's, I can't thank you enough for taking the time. You're very busy. I haven't seen you for a long time, but it's great to see you, to catch up, to hear that things are going so well with your life, your business, your family. Congratulations on the kids, accomplishments, grandkids. But But I can't thank you enough for spending a few minutes with us today. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem, man. Anytime. I like to talk, as you could tell. So anytime you feel like you want to chit chat about the days of old, I got lots to say.
Okay. All right, Jimmy. Thank you so much, man. Have a great rest of your day.
Appreciate you, David. Thank you.
See you.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye-bye.